Oh, welcome to That's Good Sports. Tonight, we football. I'm Brandon Perna, and there's no better way to start the season than listening to Jameis Winston speak.
Our body is so symmetrical, right? You got your wrists, and then what are your wrists on the bottom half? Your ankles, you got your shoulders up top. What are your shoulders? Your hips, you know what I'm saying? You got your elbows. What are your elbows? Your knees, right? It's symmetrical, and you just got to work different parts.
And your teeth are like your toes. That's why so many people want to put them in their mouth. They just sending those little toes home. And your taint? Well, that's like your upper lip. A smooth piece of skin between a couple orifices.
You know what I'm saying? You got your elbows. What are your elbows?
Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes. I will beat your ass.
Today, I'm going to break down the Revenge Index for Week 1. During yesterday's Game Picks podcast, I realized there are a lot of revenge games this week, and I wanted to rank them on how spicy the revenge meter would be for all parties involved. Plus, everyone is now officially writing.
Let's ride. Let's ride.
What are we riding in Pittsburgh, Mitch? 'Cause Russ, well, he's riding horses. Does that mean you're riding steelworkers? Eee. That's good sports! We are less than 500 subs away from hitting 300,000. So please help me. Today's episode is sponsored by Upside. Upside is not just something every major sports network does not see in me. It's an app built to literally give you money back for your purchases. To me, Upside made sense because why wouldn't I get money back for purchases I already have to make? Last year, I bought a full-sized gas-guzzling truck because traveling with a small child requires a ton of room for all the stuff you have to pack. What I didn't see coming was inflation and extremely high gas prices. And the only thing that made me not lose my mind when that pump price hit 3 figures was knowing I was earning money back with Upside. You can use Upside when buying gas or groceries or at restaurants. All you gotta do is download the free Upside app in the App Store or on Google Play and use my code GOODSPORTS and get $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. All you do is check in at the business, pay as usual with your credit or debit card, and get paid once you're linked up with Upside. You can cash out anytime to your bank, PayPal, or with an e-gift card. Just use my code or the link below to get started, which in and of itself is an upside. All right, the Buffalo Bills did extend tight end Dawson Hard Knocks for 4 years this week, keeping him in Buffalo until at least the 2027 season. The deal's worth $53.6 million, including $31 million guaranteed. Now, Knox caught a career-high 9 touchdowns last season and was the Bills' second most targeted player in the red zone behind Stephon Diggs. Knox has put up over 1,200 yards and 14 tutties in his 3 seasons after being drafted in the 3rd round out of Ole Miss back in 2019. Nice move for the Bills. I personally do care that Matthew Stafford broke his elbow.
I don't care that you broke your elbow.
Luckily, Stafford did not break his elbow, or as Jameis Winston calls it, the knee of the arm.
You got your elbows.
But there's been a lot of talk about Stafford's elbow this offseason because he had surgery to correct pain he was having in it. Doctors had to remove the last piece of Detroit from his body so he could be whole again. The good news is he had the pain pretty much all of last season in his elbow when he threw 41 touchdowns, and his elbow is now in a better spot than it was to start last year, and that's according to Stafford himself. In fact, according to Sean McVay, Stafford will have no limitations heading into the Rams' Thursday night tilt with the Buffalo Billies. God, it's gonna be a battle against my hair today, guys. Stafford is a guy who needs his elbow, especially when he throws the ball from his hip like he's an Old West gunslinger. I truly think this guy is one of the most disrespected QBs in the league. And sure, he throws some picks, but we just saw what happens when you put him on any team that's not the Detroit Lions. I'd say the Lions got the Hard Knocks boost, but since I don't know how many people still actually watch Hard Knocks, I think there is general optimism in Detroit for the first time since Stafford and Megatron were connecting. The Lions have sold out their home opener, and it's the first game they've sold out since 2019 as they prepare for the Eagles. And I think that's a huge credit to Dan Soundbite Machine Campbell. It's usually not a good sign when the most popular person on your team is the coach, but the lack of star power is why we all love the Lions, and now fans are showing back up. For future games, if they don't sell out, I would just have Dan Campbell go door to door in Detroit asking people why they haven't purchased tickets yet. Imagine trying to say no to Dan Campbell. Is he going to hug you or hug you to death?
I will beat your ass.
Now, I would like to introduce you to the very first Week 1 Revenge Index segment. Again, I noticed there were numerous revenge storylines for Week 1, so I wanted to index them for our pleasure, starting with Cliff Kingsbury versus Patrick Mahomes. Kingsbury was Mahomes' head coach at Texas Tech prior to the Chiefs drafting him. Now, I think the revenge is all on the side of Kingsbury because Mahomes is kind of viewed as the catalyst for Cliff's success and the big reason he has a head coaching job in the NFL. In fact, a huge knock on Kingsbury was not coaching Mahomes well enough to be a better QB at the college level. He's the main reason Mahomes, with all of the talent on earth, fell all the way to 10 in the draft. So I give this revenge a 4 out of 10 on the index. Then we've got receiver Devonte Parker versus the Dolphins. Now it's hard to believe this is Parker's 8th season in the NFL. All 7 seasons were with the Dolphins, and in 2019, he had his 1,200-yard, 9-touchdown season, and he looked like the next DeAndre Hopkins. Sadly, he may now only be known as a one-hit wonder. One-hit wonders don't really seek revenge. They just hope to be relevant again. So, revenge index set at 2. Von Miller versus the Rams. I think the revenge index is pretty low considering Von was only there a half a season and got a second ring out of the deal. That said, every player likes to show their ex what they're missing out on. And don't think Von doesn't remember that the Rams wouldn't offer him as much guaranteed money as the Buffalo Bills. This gets a revenge index of 2 slow Joes. Drew Lock versus the Denver Broncos. I swear to God, if Drew Lock does a more viral sideline rap from the bench with the Seahawks, they will have won the trade. It'll be heartbreaking if he tops his best play from when he was with the Broncos. Now, as the backup, Lock will have 3 hours on the bench to think of any rap he wishes. Full-on 10 out of 10 revenge performance for Lock. Then we've got Russell Wilson versus the Seahawks. All Russ did was lead this team to their first Super Bowl win ever and immediately become the best quarterback in franchise history. But because he was tired of getting sacked 200 times a season, Seahawks fans are spitting on him on his way out. But to be fair, they did let him go. I've got an 8.5 out of 10 on the revenge index because honestly, I don't think Russ can ever feel a full 10 out of 10 level of spite. He's too busy giving back to the community even when he does revenge. Stay tuned next week though when we watch the 12th man take revenge on the Seahawks organization after watching Geno Smith and or possibly Drew Lock. Za'Darius Smith versus the Packers, a very sneaky 8 out of 10 on the revenge index here. The Packers have replaced Smith's production with the emergence of Rashawn Gary, but Smith specifically signed with the Vikings to get back at the Packers and play them twice a year for allegedly treating him like shit while he was injured. Unlike Baker Mayfield, who refuses to dog the Browns, the scorn with Smith feels very real, and I believe he will have 2 Rodgers sacks in this game. Then we've got Baker Mayfield versus the Cleveland Browns. This is the spiciest revenge of them all. Baker is the best Browns quarterback since their resurrection in 1999. Hell, since Bernie Kosar. Now, Baker was sent away in favor of massage enthusiast Deshaun Watson, who won't even be playing. So in this revenge game, the Browns are going to roll into battle with Jacoby Brissett. I like to think of this game as a civil war, and Brissett is the little drummer boy in the front of the line, going out with no weapons, knowing full well some asshole on the other side may shoot him in the face for no reason. I mean, Brissett does have weapons, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Amari Cooper. But my point was that drummer boys, damn, that's a shitty job. No, the Browns are sacrificing Brissett. That's what I meant. Baker does have DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey to lead the attack, but holy hell, I'd be scared shitless knowing that this is my general and his lead counsel. Revenge index all the way to 11.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
Then we've got Doug Pederson versus the quarterback he didn't want, and Carson Wentz, who is facing the team that bounced him and the Colts from getting into the playoffs last year, which ultimately pushed him out of Indy quicker than Jim Irsay can finish a bottle of bourbon and jump into song.
Before he can hear those babies cry.
The revenge index here is a 5 out of 10. It would be higher, but some involved may not even know what they're venging in this very confusing scenario. Now, Wentz joins another former Eagles quarterback in the great honor of starting week 1 for 3 different teams in a row, both oddly making a start for Washington. And I think actually Doug Pederson is going to win this revenge matchup. If anyone knows Carson Wentz's weaknesses, it is Pederson. And finally, in one of the biggest revenge scenarios of the weekend, Joe Flacco versus the Ravens. His eliteness returns, only to keep Mike White out of the Hall of Fame. Joe Flacco's getting the start for at least the first 3 Jets games this season, including this week against his former team, the Baltimore Ravens. Now, Flacco last played for the Ravens in 2018, which feels like an eternity ago, throwing 12 touchdowns to 6 interceptions and winning just 4 of his 9 starts before rookie Lamar Jackson stepped in and led the team to the playoffs, which was like replacing your once sought-after Prius with a Tesla. Now, since the Ravens traded Flacco to Denver that offseason, Flacco has started 13 games for the Broncos and the Jets, winning just 2 of them. Overall, it was clear Flacco was declining and the Ravens made the right choice, moving on to Lamar Jackson. Although it seems like a huge pain in the ass trying to agree to a deal with a player that doesn't have an agent. Now, the revenge index for Flacco is a full-on 10, but for the Ravens, it's a Don Draper, because they don't even think about Joe anymore. Shout out to the real Don Draper, John Hamm, kicking Dave Damashek out of their fantasy league.
Oh, wow. So we had to pick one person, and it's, how do you pick, right? You pick, what do you go, personal grievance? Like, the person that kicked me out, and pick that guy? You pick the person that whose team repeatedly beats you in the World Series. You pick a couple of options there. You pick the guy that maybe never pays his fucking dues. I don't know. How do you pick? At a certain point, you just have to pick the fucking guy who lost the goddamn trophy that my name is not on.
No!
Can't wait to get you on the show, Dave, to talk about what happened there. Thanks for watching. That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here. Dear God, I want to get to 300K. That means I'll make $300,000 a day from YouTube if I do, right?
Oh man, that is an upset. Wow. I would say 8/10 to 1, somewhere in there.